Are you a goal-driven person, or are you somebody who goes with the flow? I always thought I was somebody who went with the flow. When I used to work in organisations, I was employed, then I didn't have a choice. Goals were given to me. Sometimes they used to say, what would you like your goal to be? And you had to come up with something which was related to what your job was. Some of it you had some influence, the majority of it was business driven. Working for myself, I find goals can be very hit and miss. Some days I'll have good goals, other days I won't have goals, and I'll look back and go, what did I do with the last 2-3 months? They've just disappeared. But one thing I have found that's worked really well for me is having a short-term goal. Short-term being 3 months, had to push 6 months, but I find I have a vision longer than that. But short-term, I like to keep it in months. I've learned much more about setting goals in a sports perspective than I ever learned in business. I like to exercise a lot and compete in triathlons. And so I'll have a goal of, to the end of this season, I'm going to compete in a standard triathlon, which is a 1500 meter swim, a 40k bike ride, and a 10k run. Now I'm not sure my body's up for that, but that's what I'm hoping to achieve. I'll probably do a lot of work in the interim to help me focus on those elements. For example, if I want to do swimming, I need to be swimming once, twice a week. Probably need to be doing about 1500, 2000 meters each time. And if I do that on a regular basis, I know I'm going to be ready for it. And I can do that for the cycling, I can do that for the running, break it down into component parts. And worst case scenario, if my injuries haven't healed, then I'll do a sprint, my fallback plan. When I was learning to speak and do presentations, I had a vague goal. I just wanted to do whatever there was out there, collect as much information and see how it went. My short-term goal in 6 months was to get a new job, and I knew I needed to present better. I went somewhere to learn about presence, about presenting, about confidence, and that helped me then step into my new job. I wanted to do it in 6 months. It ended up taking a year to actually achieve my goal because it was vague. Over time, what I've done is, okay, I want to now learn about storytelling. I used to use a lot of data, run projects, look at all the projects and the spreadsheets, and it was dull and it was boring presenting spreadsheets. I'm sure if you've ever sat down and heard somebody present a spreadsheet, it can be quite dull. So I thought, how can I make this more exciting? How can I learn to share stories and create stories that tell people what this data is about, what it achieves, and what I've taken from it? That probably took me a few years to understand story structures, understand how it relates to data. I was never in a rush to do it, clearly, because it took me a few years. But I had a focus, I had a vision, and each time then, whenever I was going to do a project update, I would then go, how can I bring an element of storytelling into this? And over time, I got more confident, I got more courageous, I tried new things. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. I went on to bigger stages, had disasters, but had great successes, coming off feeling, do you know what? I really enjoyed that. What goal do you want to achieve? You know me for talking about presentation skills, upping your game, upping your mindset, and the whole element about presence. And if that's where you want to focus on, what's your short-term 3-month goal? What do you want to do in the next 3 months? Do you want to get more confidence? Do you want to get clarity? Do you want to work on your mindset? Do you want to get greater presence? Do you want to learn storytelling? Which element will help you in the next stage of your career, in the next stage of your business development? And then think about, okay, if I'm going to do that in 3 months' time, what do I need to start doing now, next week, the week after, that's going to help me get there? And just by having that, and even keep it in your head sometimes, will really help you focus on what is important, and more importantly, what isn't important. Then you can actually get rid of what's distracting and having no value, and what the key focus of what you want to achieve. I'd love to hear what your goals are, whether it be presenting, presence, storytelling, or something unrelated like sports. So add in the comments what you want to achieve. What is it in the next 3 months you want to do differently that you're not doing now? Do you have any ideas that would help you? What I've consistently found is put it in my head for a while, but then write it down. Just write it down somewhere on my phone or share it with somebody. And that helps me, keeps me focused. Because if I keep it to myself, what tends to happen is I just give myself excuses and delay and delay and delay, or think of reasons not to do something. So write it down, share in the comments what you're going to do. I'd love to hear what your goals are for the next 3 months, and maybe what your vision is as well. What do you want to achieve? Right, I'm going to go back to walking my dogs, but I'll be looking at the comments to see where you're going and what you're doing.